So poverty is not the creation of the person. Poverty is the creation of the society and the system.
While some countries in Asia have achieved striking economic success, tens of millions of people throughout the region still live in dire poverty, and rapidly expanding income gaps pose an extremely serious challenge. Is it possible for everyone to enjoy the benefits of economic success? Is there any way for the poorest people in Asia to make the leap to happier circumstances? One person with a vision of a path to that future is the founder of the Grameen Bank, Muhammad Yunus, who is based in Bangladesh.
2006, Oslo. Muhammad Yunus, founder of Grameen Bank, receives the Nobel Peace Prize. He had created a financial service to help eradicate poverty, a microcredit system. In the 1970s, Yunus taught economics at a university in Bangladesh. He saw with his own eyes the harsh reality of extreme poverty in rural areas. At the time, banks in Bangladesh only dealt with the wealthy. They didn't lend money to the poor. Yunus saw poverty as a trap and decided to devise a new financial system. He set up Grameen Bank and introduced a microcredit system. The system was designed to help those with no steady work and no collateral. It offered unsecured loans of less than $100. As the system spread, small enterprises sprang up. Pottery, bamboo craft. People began to move themselves out of poverty. %98 of those using the system returned their loans. Financing the poor instead of aiding them, this approach helped to nurture independence and self-confidence. The new system won widespread praise and went global. These days, about 8 million people use microcredit in both developing and developed nations. A key component is the power of women. Yunus thought very highly of women's potential. He focused especially on loans to women and helped to improve their social status in South Asia, where their standing had never been good. As the challenges of poverty and inequality become increasingly serious in Asia and worldwide, what does Yunus see as the best way forward?
Professor Yunus, thank you very much for making the time for us today.
Well, thank you for coming.
Well, your dedication to eradication of poverty through Grameen Bank and other initiatives have been about empowering women, especially women in poverty. Would I be right in saying so?
Yes, you are right. We have been focusing on women, on poor women particularly.
And why women?
Because she's very careful, very particular in what she does. Men are more careless. Again, she wants to move in a certain direction to overcome poverty. Men wanted to enjoy now rather than wait for tomorrow. So you see lots of these positive things in women. And when she was taking this small money, she brings all her management skill to get the best result from this tiny money. So she works very hard to get as much to squeeze out of this money as possible. Men didn't pay much attention to that aspect either. So if you put all those together, it becomes very clear that women are better in handling money in terms of producing impact in the family. So we gradually switched into the women direction.
And it sort of created a positive cycle, one thing leading to another.
It definitely has, because it has lots of changes.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, the changes in the family so far as the men and women relationship is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
The status of women changed, because now she has been able to demonstrate to her husband that she is a capable person. She is an intelligent person. And gradually the distance between the husband and wife becomes closer and closer. They become more at par, equal status than previously they had been. Women always kind of way down and the men always up above. That relationship continued for ages and ages. So this is the first time she shows her talent, that she can also contribute to the family income, and she could be independent judgment she can express.
It's interesting that you have defined women more as business partners rather than a recipient of aid or charity.
So she is not just a recipient of a charity. She is an active partner in a business relationship. She receives and she pays back, and adding the interest on top of it. So it's an equal relationship rather than a relationship one below and another above. So that has helped her to create her mental faculty that I can do things on my own. I'm not at the mercy of another person. So she knows that if her performance is well, she can move up step by step, because the system allows her to do that.
Yunus wants to create a world without poverty. He has always talked about the importance of education. But this is an enormous challenge in South Asia. Of all the people in the world who are 15 and over, about 16% are unable to read or write. More than half of them, about 420 million people, are in South Asia. The gender gap in South Asia is extremely serious. Far fewer women are educated than men. Yunus wants to change this. He believes strongly in the importance of educating women who tend to be marginalized by society.
So talking about higher education and advanced education, what changes can education bring about to a life of a woman?
Yeah, it depends on what you mean by education. If education means just reading and writing, that's just the beginning of a long journey. Education is to know the world and know yourself. So that's what the real education is all about, not just be able to read something and write something. So you have a long way to go understand the world around you and yourself. I think the best part of education is to discovering one's own capacity, one's own talent, who I am, building up curiosity in the person to understand and be able to respond to the problems that one would be facing.
By discovering oneself, women even have the chance of getting ahead and becoming entrepreneurs themselves rather than just joining the mainstream of economy.
Absolutely. They have to explore all the dimensions of her life. Women particularly is in disadvantage in a male-dominated society. But that time has changed. It's not the physical power anymore. It's the mental power. It's the creative power. And in that, man and woman, boy and girl are the same level. So nobody will say women has less creative power than men, or boys have more creative power than women. Nobody will say that. So when we are coming to that level, when the ideas will rule supreme, when the creativity is the one which will guide the whole world, then we are at par. So the women can come out and be at the same level. And then you not only discover yourself, you discover how you are created in that position. So you structure yourself in a different way, because the present structure created you in a certain position. But is there a better structure where we'll be able to free ourselves from the bondages that we inherited from the past and be a free human being? with a free spirit, and the freedom of thinking and freedom of creation. So those are the most essential elements of learning and education and knowledge. And women will be in best position because they are the one who has to come out of the bondages that society has imposed on her as fast as she can. So she will exercise her own mind rather than just follow the basic structure of the society.
So it seems education, of course, it is a basic human right, but at the same time, it sounds as though it is an investment to women's future, listening to what you're saying.
Human life is not about eating and sleeping and dying. Human life is about exploring and take the world to a new level and change the world, change everything that lives on this planet. And everything is constituted by everything that lives, the environment, the other species of life, and everybody. So this is our responsibility as a human being. How do I take this responsibility? Am I prepared to take this responsibility? So education helps me to do that. Education is not, I'm repeating, it's not about taking care of myself. Education is about taking care of the whole planet. Education is about exploring the limits of my capacity.
For Yunus, the main base of operations is Bangladesh, and now a new project to empower women has begun. The Asian University for Women in Chittagong, the second largest city in Bangladesh. By enabling Asian women to receive higher education, the hope is that they can help their homelands to grow. The university was started through an initiative by the World Bank and UNESCO. It has about 400 students from 12 countries and regions.
In everyday class, you will learn something. You're going through your own mind and you're discovering yourself, your thoughts, and what is you and what you want to say.
The teachers come from all over the world, and the students are exposed to a variety of cultures and values. They hope to become the Asian leaders of tomorrow. Yunus shares the principles underpinning the university. He has enthusiastically supported the project from its earliest stages.
Question about education. No, there's a very interesting initiative in Bangladesh called Asian University for Women. How would you evaluate such initiative?
I like that. I like the whole idea because it's one small example where you bring girls from all over Asia, put in one place to explore themselves. Because women, particularly young girls, don't see each other from another country. Don't see that there are girls in different kind of social context. Girls from Afghanistan, girls from Bangladesh, or girls from China or Japan, they never get together. In a professional life, after you have left the universities and so on, you come to a stage where you do a global kind of job, then you get to know, but that's too late. To grow up within the college periphery together, it's a completely different perspective. So this is an exercise, Asian University of Women is an exercise to vision together.
And what sort of a future do you envision for the graduates of AUW?
I only think I hope that they will not be hired off by rich multinationals and they become the routine executives of this. This is one worry that I have. Should they continue with their challenges and being in the country and being the citizens of those countries, leaderships of providing the leadership to those world. So that's will be the real challenge. If they go into big companies and make a life of being executives, probably they will forget their own countries.
But market-wise, some countries in Asia may not look very attractive to the graduates of those educational institutions.
No, that's a fear. That maybe not. Given the present situation, they will say, why should I be here? I will always be obstructed by the society, by the rules, by the procedures, by anybody that I'll be working for. So let me go to a country where I'm free. Because freedom will be something which will be built into this education. And she'll be feeling very uncomfortable living in the societies they're coming from. The Afghan girl will not go back to Afghanistan. Bhutan girl will not go to Bhutan. Bangladeshi girl doesn't want to stay in Bangladesh anymore. So that's a kind of fear. So it's what you teach inside the university is important thing. By choice, they will say, this is the best place. What I want to do in my life has a mission. And I want to take that mission and make sure that my mission is fulfilled and to the extent that I can do that and I have the capacity to do that. So they have to start believing in that yes, I can do something, and there's no other better place than to do it in the country that I'm from. And that way I feel good that I have done something for the society that I came from.
Yunus does much of his work in Bangladesh, where the per capita GDP is only about $640. Yet the highest figure in Asia is 70 times that amount in Singapore, and the gap just keeps getting bigger. As globalization continues, economic chasms are opening up within regions. What role and responsibility should nations shoulder in dealing with this? Yunus approaches all such problems as a member of the public. He feels that the role of government is to provide a place for individuals to fulfill their potential.
Asia is a unique continent with a tremendous potential for growth, but at the same time charged with challenges such as governance or poverty or security threats. Do you feel that your initiatives are contributing to solving those problems?
It has the potential of being successful. I wouldn't say already successful, because we have a long way to go. I mean, we have cases where there are a lot of success has taken place, like in China or India or the countries like that. Japan, of course, is a long-time success. But the rest of Asia is still way behind. It's not catching up. Huge gap. So you can go to 0 to 100, yeah? But most of it is closer to 0 rather than to the 100. That's our problem in Asia. So Asia is a big continent, and a bulk of it is in the lower end of the success rather than the higher end of the success. But the potential is there. Potential is people are relatively very hardworking. If you compare many other areas and so on, very creative, is full of entrepreneurship. Asia is something they have already demonstrated that. Entrepreneurial capacity of Asia, that is very clearly demonstrated. If we have the governance issue within the country, it's not a feudal kind of thing, it's not an outdated political system where individuals are not free to do things, how to have a good governance so that individuals have the freedom to go out and express themselves and change the society. These are very essential things. Sometimes governments try to control everything, which kind of constrains people's ability to move forward.
The government had been in control of some of the aspects of economy, thereby helping the economy grow. As a result, how do you reconcile that, the reality?
Basic structure of the government is something which doesn't encourage creative ideas, creative actions. They go traditional actions, traditional marginal improvements. They don't believe in jumps. They go in incremental. But the citizens can jump. That's the beauty of the citizens. Make quick decisions. Quick success, quick failures, and it's their responsibility. So I'm saying, yes, there is the role of the government. But the role of the government always has to be in the context of the citizens' role. That yes, we leave this space to the citizens, only to the extent citizens have not filled the role, we come and do the job, if we can do that. And as citizens are taking over those roles, and we can gradually kind of withdraw and move backwards because they are doing better work than we could do. So that way I would say, no matter which Asian country we are talking about, the ultimate objective of the government would be in that direction.
Bangladesh has severe food shortages. Children under 5 make up 30% of the population. 56% of them are suffering from malnutrition because of poverty. A French food product manufacturer set up a joint venture with the Grooming Group. The aim is to provide children in Bangladesh with cheap, nutritious yogurt. The venture is able to operate profitably, but it does not pay any profits to investors. Profits are reinvested in the business in order to improve nutrition for children. a business that aims not to make money, but to solve a social problem. This is the kind of work that Yunus is especially interested in. He expects to see such social businesses moving into insurance and medicine, fields traditionally handled by national and local government.
I'm talking about social business. You talk about social business as a business that can make profit, but at the same time do good. But, well, I'm going to sound like a very greedy person, but by nature, well, when people make money, they are inclined to feel that they want to make more money. The greed issue comes in, and it becomes a like inevitable incentive in a sense to continue doing business, unless that person is like a saint, like Professor Yunus. How do you reconcile that greed issue?
To me, it's a very clear answer. It's not a greed issue. It's about human life issue. What is it that I want in my life? Here is a bundle of money for me. If I go through this road, I get this bundle of money. So I run to get this, overcome obstacles to get to that. There's another path. I can change 1 million people's life, but I don't get anything personally. This is what I see, and it's an exciting thing for me. I have to decide, what do I do? Should I go and make money for myself, or should I go and change the life of 1 million people? I have the capacity. And this success of this is as exciting as getting this bundle of money. So these are both incentives. You said there's incentive in money. I said incentives are many. In religion, there is incentive of going to heaven. So people take it very seriously and work so that they can go to heaven ultimately. So that's an incentive, that when you do this thing, you go to heaven. So here, if you do these things, you can change the life of the people, many people. Or if you do this, you do that. So that's incentive is not just one kind, number one. And in social business, I'm not saying that you don't have to make money at all. I'm saying you can do both. It's not either or. Either you do this or you do this. That's not what we say. I'm saying that you can do business to make money. At the same time, you can do business to change the world. In social business, the company can make profit, but owner doesn't want to take the profit because the company is dedicated to change the world or solve the problem. So that's the challenge, and that's the excitement of life, that I'm going to solve this problem. It may be solving the problem for 10 people, but it's exciting for me. I can do the change for 10 people. And if I can expand, I can do it for 100 people, 1,000 people, million people.
Sort of incentive that you elaborated, making profit, but also doing good for millions of people. Do you think that is shared by many people increasingly these days?
There is a lot of interest in the subject, but nobody is teaching them in the classroom, nobody is talking about it in their regular educational process. So they are not familiar with it. Because today's education is about self, about selfish part of your life. So I'm saying people are not just selfish people. People are selfish, at the same time they are selfless. They both are in the same person. But the selfless part is not being discussed in the classroom. So we don't explore it. So we have we have one type of glasses, which is the selfish glasses. So we see the world from the selfish glasses. So we act within self and feel comfortable with it because our eyes don't see anything but selfishness. I'm selfish, you're selfish, everybody's selfish. I said, if you take it off, you'll see the real human beings. Or if you put the social business glasses on, then suddenly it will be a completely different world. But that glasses are not used in the classroom to show you what it is all about. Once I know that, then I start asking, what should I do? Today that question doesn't arise. You do this, only way.
One question I have regarding social business is that when a social business brings about concrete results and becomes prosperous and thereby doing more good to the people, while they're doing that, doesn't it mean that the government or international organizations are let off the hook, sort of? I mean, aren't they be the ones who should be doing the good for the people?
They should, but at the same time, why shouldn't I? If I have the capacity, if I can do better than them. I mean, they don't have to be held responsible for doing everything, and I, as a citizen, I fold my hand and sit and watch them do wrong things. I don't think that's the idea. The idea was citizens couldn't afford to do that. So we left it to a common body. We created that common body, said, you do it, because individually I cannot do that. But that concept is changed because of the social business. I said, I can do it myself. So why don't I take care of 10 people who are on welfare today? I create a social business to bring them out of welfare. So that government doesn't have to give the welfare to these 10 people. Government will be relieved. As a citizens, I'll be relieved to pay the taxes for that. So I would rather use this money to create a social business myself. So I'm saying that the citizens have much more capacity, much more creativity than the government will ever have.
My last question, which the question that I always ask you, what is your definition of poverty and your definition of development?
Well, poverty in one way is hopelessness. I don't see next day is going to be better than today. This is one way to look at poverty. And it's a kind of repetition of same day over and over again.
It's just not the lack of money.
It's not the lack of money. It's also mental. It's also the circumstances. So I don't see any ray of hope in my life or in my children's life. It continues the same way. So if you say, you ask development, for me development is a ray of hope. I can do something. Ability to use my own talent and my energy in creating my own life. That's development for me. And that may express in many different ways. So poverty is the lack of all these opportunities. That's one poverty. So poverty is not the creation of the person. Poverty is the creation of the society and the system. So in order to address the question of poverty, we have to change the system. We have to change the structure of the society so that that seed can grow as tall as anybody else. So that's what this poverty issue is all about. It's not looking at the person, oh, that person doesn't have this ability or mentality or some energy to do something. She is as good as anybody else. Simply doesn't have the space to unleash the energy, enormous energy she has inside of her. So that's creating that space for her is the first task of removing poverty.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Yunus, for making the time for us.
Thank you. It's wonderful to see you here.